Okay, is that live? We're beginning with a thought today as my live Q&As dwindle in number while I take a break from being productive to focus on going on hikes and bike rides and short walks. We're waiting for people to enter and ask me questions. But in the meantime, I just want you to know that you're being overtaxed. Doesn't really matter where you live in the world. If you're watching this, chances are very high that you're being overtaxed. Taxed when you earn, taxed when you spend. Hi, Mia, MIA. Is it Mia or is it MIA? You're my first person to say a thing today. I had to pay a car tax today. And I bought this car a little while ago, a few years ago, for $27,500. And then I drove it for 2 years, and then I guess the state that I live valued it at $31,000 and then taxed me based on that. And it was quite a bit. I had to pay quite a bit of tax because I guess my car grew in value after I bought it and drove it for 2 years. Very upsetting. You got a Kamala Harris ad on my video. They're getting bold. There's a guy in the chat named Patrick Bateman who says he got a Kamala Harris ad when he clicked on my video. That's completely inappropriate. That's not reaching anybody. Can you draw the psi symbol, please? I don't know what the psi symbol is. Psi. I know theta. It's like that. I know pi. I'll Google it. God, you people are picky. Can you draw a particular letter of the Greek alphabet? That's what you mean, right? Psi. Greek. Avocado atrocity is back. Car tax compensation plan due to car being an appreciating asset. Clearly. Oh, yeah. Of course. Weekly meet, I am not answering silly questions. No silly questions. So, like, if you ask a question that somebody obviously has asked me 10,000 times before, I'm just not going to answer it. I don't care if you pay me $100. You could pay me $100 and say, how much do you weigh? And I will just skip it. And I'm not going to read your name or anything. Please don't do that. Kamala is a walking nightmare. We live in it's just a disaster. Oh, okay, the psi symbol. I remember the psi symbol. I Googled it. I'll do it all Greek. I'll do it all, like, stately in Greek. Like you'd see it on a sign in a sticky frat house. Yo, you going to Delta Psi? Do they have any Psi frat houses? So there's that. And then there's these little wings that come off and go like this. Someone asked me to do this. This is what I do for my fans. I draw the Psi symbol for them. And then obviously it's all colored in. So I'll do that really quick. God, this is boring. What other question? John Terry. I started a business that failed. Oh, I'm terribly sorry. That sentence hurts a lot. Man, that's like a very small way into what you said, and that's a big part of your life. I started a business that failed, and now I have to live at my parents' house. Oh, it gets worse. While paying back the debt, I am wasting my time trying to find love. Oh my God. Just keeps getting, that's like Kafka story where everything just keeps getting worse and worse until you die. You've failed business, moved back in with your parents, paying down the debt, and wasting your time trying to find love. You really shouldn't be doing that. You really should do something first that's going to cause women to be impressed with you and to feel safe with you. And telling them, I have a bunch of debt from a failed business and I live with my parents is going to make them, it's just going to make them like take a long sip of their apple teeny and just and look at you like, why did you make me leave the house? I shaved my legs and you're in debt and you live with your parents. I should be at home covered in powdered sugar reading a lady porno novel. Um, don't look for love in that condition, man. Spend all of your energy getting out of that pit. Declare bankruptcy or something. PSI, which also means pounds per square inch. So your car tires are psychic. Thomas Giaduras asked me what books I suggest. I have a link tree with a book list on it. I'll write it out. linkter.ee/HOE_MATH. I have a book list. You're welcome, John Terry. Please focus on yourself. Oh my God, please. Someone named G says, "Do you ever lose purpose?" Yeah, I lost purpose 4 years ago. And then it says, "You work hard every day." No, I don't. The last 2 days, I have been just sleeping all day. You work hard every day, but what's the point? How do you deal with it and find purpose once again? I lost purpose 4 years ago with the whole COVID thing. I know that I whine and whine about it, but I'm not over it, and I'm probably not getting over it. My life was going great, and COVID burned the whole thing down. And people were behaving like lunatics. And, I used to have a lot of friends, and now I have none. I used to live in a place I loved, and then I didn't love it anymore. It was scary and dangerous. Um, and I don't really have purpose. I'm doing this because it's working, but I have a hard time connecting it to my life's purpose. I have a hard time feeling like making the internet videos is what I'm supposed to be doing. Uh, it's working. It's working really well, and I'm blessed, and it's great. Uh, but it wasn't what I designed my life for. And to be perfectly honest, I really, I really hate staring at social media all day. I hate looking at the screens and at my phone and flipping through things and here's my stupid idea and here's my ugly response. It makes me really tired. And what I was doing before did not. So it's like when you ask me, do you ever lose purpose? Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah. I'm just kind of having faith that something's going to come show up. Um, Two questions. How do you feel about Nala, the red hair, ex OnlyFans born again Christian? So I know her. I wanted to do a video on her. I think that she's full of it. You can't have a turnaround that quickly that often. Most people don't. So there's this girl who is like basically just this bikini, just like a OnlyFans girl. And she's got, like bangs because of course she does. And I'm pretty sure she has long red hair. It's like I don't have the right colored pencil for it, so I'll just have to use two of them. It's like the bad red where it's like clearly dyed with like a purplish tone, I think. So it's like the scary red, it's the stay away from me colors. And she says, she was basically just doing OnlyFans, and then she goes, "Oh, I'm a Christian now. I'm a conservative Christian, and I totally have all these values." And I like it doesn't pass the smell test. I don't buy it. And I've got to look into her a little more, but I'm pretty sure that she is just playing on the dopiness of conservative men who want to hear that a hot girl has their values. And I think it's most likely just a very cynical way to get attention from them. I think that it was like a Paris Hilton thing, where Paris Hilton's actually not stupid. You can, if you hear her speak, like she understands business and she gets what's going on. But she, manipulated people. She's like, I'm really rich and I don't know what does a banana cost $20? And it made people pay a lot of attention to her, and she made even more money and got more famous. I'm pretty sure that's what's going on with, what was her name, Nala, like from the Lion King. Alex says, "What do you think about height, and how much does it matter?" Matters a lot, unfortunately. Below average height, Germany, where the average height is about 5'11". Oh wow, that's pretty cool. I didn't. Well, I guess I should have known that about Germany. The average height would be 5'11". Um, Average male height globally is 5'9". I don't know what it is in America. I'm 5'11". I do fine. Like a lot of girls set their phone to say 6 feet. Um, but when the apps worked for me, like I'm too old for them now, but when they worked for me, just put 6 there. I did fine at 5'11", but that's above average. If you are over 6 foot, you're gonna do a lot better wherever you are. Um, it's like an exponential drop off. The shorter you are, the harder it's going to be for you, and you're going to have to make up with that with other stuff. You're just going to have to be really cool or good at music or something. Like Rod Stewart was short, but he was really good at music, and he had all hot girls all over him all the time. Um, so you're going to have to do something to make up for it if you're significantly below average. Like, what are you, like 5'7"? Are you 5'10"? If you're 5'10" in Germany, you'll probably be fine. Let's see. So height does matter. It's, unfortunate. It's sad. John Terry, I make 6 figures. I do jujitsu. I have a lot going for me, but I can never tell girls where I live, so I have to hook up, then ghost them or get left. Well, is that working out for you, John? Should you be doing that? Does that make you happy, or are you just kind of like playing and wasting time? Are you hurting anyone's feelings? Are you hurting your own feelings? Should you spend that time on maybe a side hustle so you can get out of your parents' house faster? I'm not saying, not telling you what to do. I'm just giving you things to think about. Like, should you be hooking up with girls and ghosting them just because it's better than nothing? That's what I did, and I'm miserable. Um, that whole, like, one of the things that people say about me sometimes is, oh, of course you're going to meet bad women if you're looking in bad places. But I was looking in good places too. I was looking for the right girl while I was entertaining myself with the wrong ones. And I think that entertaining myself with the wrong ones was like not overall helpful. I don't think that it's worth it because it's just like we fun and it takes a lot of time and energy, and then someone is sad sometimes after. And sometimes it's you, don't lie. Um, JC says thoughts on Arthur Schopenhauer, the philosopher. I have read Schopenhauer, and I think you should read him. He's like history's greatest incel. And he wrote about women, and he's not wrong. It's just that he's very cynical about it, very negative. He's not wrong though. The way that he describes the temperament of women, it's like, yeah, yeah, it's not always that bad. Not every woman always behaves the same way, but yeah, the temperament. He nailed it. So I do recommend Schopenhauer as long as you don't let it make you bitter, which a lot of guys will. Joe Doyle says that he was a shut-in for 5 years after a hideous fight with all of my 5 sisters all at once. That sounds funny. I was finally ready to come out of the house until the lockdown came. Okay, are you looking for advice? I don't know what, like, it sounds terrible. You had a fight with all your sisters at once. All 5 of them. Let's do 1, 2, like a pentagram, 3, 4, 5. Let's do the hair. I mean, like, it sounds bad. I hope that you're not living like that anymore. Do you have a job? Do you make six figures like my friend, what was it, John up there? John Terry? Can you get out of your situation? You shouldn't be a shut-in. I'm a shut-in right now, kind of. I mean, like, I go out on bike rides and hiking and stuff, but it's by myself. Other than that, I stay in the house. I don't go out to events or anything because I don't want to stay here. Like, I really didn't put any effort into socializing the last 2 years because I didn't want to stay where I am, and I'm moving really soon. So, I mean, are you growing any part of your life? You should be growing your professional or social life or something to get out of that situation. If you feel stuck in it, she needs arms and legs. Unless your sister doesn't have arms and legs. That'd be funny if I nailed it by accident. Let's see, what else? Patrick Bateman. Let's point to Patrick Bateman again, right there. He says, all the women I know at church are single moms, ex-garden tools, etc. Yeah, I've heard bad things about church. Pearl, especially, says lots of bad things about church girls. She says that women who've made very bad choices will go to church to say, oh, look, I'm good now, but they didn't actually change. Like, guess who? Probably. Hi, Charles Tofield. Yeah, it's me. I said your name. Give me money. What is your MBTI and Enneagram? No silly questions. I've done this. I've been over this. Hi, the Super Jacob Show says, do you think our society is capable of regaining personal accountability in time to save civilization? Pockets of it will. I think that at this point, what we've seen is ridiculous enough to predict that large groups of people, particularly those who are living in the cities and pretending that nothing is happening and saying, "Oh, everything's back. Everything's the same again." I think that large pockets of people are not going to come to their senses, and I think that things are going to continue to degrade and get worse, and that people living, an hour or more outside of the cities, and then especially like way out in northern Idaho and Indiana and places that don't have much going on, those people are going to be able to have personal accountability because you have to more in those places because you know the people around you and they know you, and a lot of those people do hard work, it's truckers and farmers and stuff, but city people they might be permanently silly. I don't know if we're going to turn them around. Joe Doyle says he's been working on an adventure novel, hopes it sells. Yeah, writing is hard. Getting published and, my book sold because people knew me for something else. If people don't know you for something, like, it better be a really good book. You're very likely to work on that book really hard and be really happy with it and proud of it, and then publish it, and it sells like not much. The novel writing industry in particular, it's like half of the sales go to Stephen King, and then half of the remainder go to whoever is the next guy, like John Grisham or something. And when it comes to small, new creators, there's not much left. Ryan Acorn says, I live in a very liberal city, as if there's any other kind. And I'm a fan of 90% of the women I'm meeting from apps or socially. Do I need to move, or are there right places to meet a partner? Okay, so this is one of the things that I really have to address a little bit more in my content, because I talk about the problems men have, the problems women have, and how to, as a man, get over them. And I do that for women too, although not many of them listen. The women who are fans of my content listen fantastically. They listen really well, and they go, oh, okay, I didn't know that, I should change. But it's only like 5% of my audience. I'm assuming what you mean is that you're not a fan of 90% of the women you're meeting from apps or socially, and I wasn't either. And when you say, are there right places to meet a partner? Unfortunately, if you don't want to meet that 90% of women, you have to go out to the middle of nowhere, like like if you're in like I think Boston is shaped like this. Let's do a B for Boston. I think Boston is shaped kind of like this, and then there's like a metro area around it, and then around that there's like suburbs, metro, and then suburbs, and then you have like New Hampshire over here, and then there's like some coastline, and then Maine, and all in this area you're going to get people who are kind of Boston-y. And then once you get out farther, like towards the mountains or towards Vermont, you're going to get people who are less like that. But Vermont is very liberal too. You've got to get far enough away from the city that people are not really influenced by it. Like way out in, let me just do it, United States again. Maine, Florida, Texas. Um, you've got basically this part, and then, the cities and the coast and coastal areas here, and then more or less all of Florida except for the Panhandle, and then the whole coast, like all the way up to almost Canada. Once you get past Portland in Maine, and you go farther out, that's like a good spot to get away from it all. And then around here, and then of course in like Denver and anywhere you're going to find cities in the middle, like even what was it? I think it was Kansas City over here. I visited that once, and it was, man, it was pretty leftist. It was, didn't expect that in the middle of nowhere. And then Salt Lake City, Utah, also pretty leftist. So like anywhere that you find these big cities, you're going to be finding that 90% that you're not thrilled with. And you've got to go out to like northern Idaho, or like somewhere in the Midwest that's quiet, like Ohio or Indiana, or like Mississippi or something like that, or Arkansas, something that's away from those places. But then you're going to be like, there's not going to be much to do. You're not going to be able to drive to these cities. It's going to be basically you're going on hikes, and you're tipping cows and stuff. And the girls out there, I have been told, and like I spoke to somebody from northern Montana, so like very far from any of the cities in Montana, and Montana is very sparsely populated. Um, it's absolutely huge state with only about 1.1 million people in it, and so if you don't live in one of the big cities, you live in the middle of nowhere. And somebody who lives in the middle of nowhere spoke to me, a woman, and she told me that the men are using apps in the same way that they do in the cities. That there are women out there who do want to get married, they do want to get settled down, but the men who are popular are able to go from one to the other and have their pick until they get old, and then they try to settle down in their late 30s. So she told me that that's even happening out there. But still, those places are your best bet. Just get away from the cities. So what I really want to talk about is that even though I talk about self-improvement, and I talk about how to be your best self and how to be what people are looking for and don't be the table, right? The real issue that I want to talk about, the real issue that I have a channel at all, and what I want to talk about with it, is that that's not going to solve the problem. The problem is social. The problem is cultural. The problem is social and cultural rot. People are not the way they used to be. And it's got a lot to do with technology and culture changing. And I really don't know what to tell you about it other than we need to change it back, or it's going to be hell for a while. Okay, I got some more questions. Rocco says, hopeful you help people feel virtually not alone. I don't know what you mean. Like people don't feel alone because they listen to me? I hope so. I know that some people develop parasocial relationships with me. And that's weird, but I guess fine. I guess it's pretty cool for people to think they know me like I used to think I knew Conan O'Brien or something. Uriel Naranjo says, can you talk about men's provide and protect in women's core drives, nurture and social control, and what suppression of these drives leads to. Yeah, what it leads to is domestication. So our natural drives and our natural roles that are built into us, we try to express them, and when we do express them, we get punished. Particularly men, particularly in public school and government school. And when you get your natural drives punished, you become domesticated, and you go, "Oh, I'm just going to do what I'm supposed to do. Then I'm going to be nice," and then no one likes you. And domestication doesn't work well, especially for men. Um, we stop living for ourselves and we start living for what we're told to do. And people are hyper domesticated right now. They're over socialized, is the word for it from Uncle Ted. Ellie says, "You think 90% of your life is determined when you're born? I think your DNA determines most of who you are, for sure. And then your experiences can shape you to some degree. Like there's how you're born, and then there's how you grow. So there's only so many abilities you have that you're born with, and then you can grow them in a lot of different directions, but you can't reshape yourself." Maximus T says, Are you a fan of the USS Liberty?" And I guess I would say yes. I guess I would say that I think it's a shame what happened to the USS Liberty, in case anyone wants to Google it. Mr. Gibson says, "I'm retired military, earn collectively over 150K, own multiple properties, in pretty good shape. However, when women find out I'm in my 40s, they lose all interest." Oh, yeah, me too. Yep, I'm dead. I am dead. I lost all my opportunities. Nothing good is going to happen to me either. You have to take that hit, and there's nothing that you can do about it. When you get old, people don't like you as much, and your options are going to be a lot more limited. Everyone wants to have like a young, sexy partner with tight skin. Nobody wants to be with an old, with bad hair and I'm tired. Nobody wants that. Um, Time passes and you have to just deal with it. There's a guy, time passes and you have to just deal with it. There's a guy that I coached twice. I gave him 2 sessions and he's doing great. And I think he's in his late 30s. He's doing great. He's making a lot of money. He has a daughter and he takes care of her, and he has a bad ex. And he's just in a situation with his ex and with being stuck in his city that is not a very good city, that not a lot of women are willing to deal with it. And the second time I coached him was pretty much centered on that, where it's like you have to deal with, you might have to take a hit on what you're looking for. You might have to downgrade what you're looking for from women, because unfortunately, even though your ex being a psycho and you being stuck living out in the middle of nowhere, that doesn't reflect on you personally, but those are the conditions that come with you, and women are not going to love it. So you might have to go down to, like 5 or a 6. He's looking for better than that. Um, Philip Chung says, "Can you talk about height?" I already did. I did that just a minute ago. He says, "I think a 5'7" man of 8 equal a 5'11" man of 7, or a 5'7" man think he's a 9, but girls think he's just 7. Height matters, and there's not a lot that you can do about it. You have to be exceptional in something else. That's what I said before. I won't give the whole speech again. Cello Tomaz says, "Hey bro, I'm 26 years old, got a truck license, good, living in Central Florida in Orlando. Good, I guess. I'll just say that. I don't know what that's like. I have a Caribbean culture. Yes, women are still nice, but they're high maintenance, especially in my father country." Oh yeah, the Caribbean women are just like, here's what you're paying for today on the first date. Um, so I mean, what do you want me to do? Like, those are the women that you're dating, right? Do you want to make them stop being like that? I don't think that you can change the culture. I think you have to either learn how to deal with it, or like move or talk to other kinds of people. That's not a thing that you really have power over. You can't, unless you have particularly high value and you're going for women who really, really need to be with you. You can't really tell them, "Hey, stop behaving that way that you're used to." It's like, if that's your culture, then that's what you're dealing with. And if they have those demands, you're going to have to learn to, give in when you have to, and then hold out when you can. And that's a long conversation. So good luck. When are you posting more integral theory? Self Max says Tito Savinsky. I should be doing another integral theory video soon. I have to move in a month, and I'm hoping to do 1 or 2 integral theory videos before I move. Um, should be coming. Roger Penrose says, "What do you think about normies? Man, they're frustrating. You can't get through to them. Can't talk to them. I don't think I could ever date a normie woman ever again. I don't think I could do it. I think I have to. I think I have to date NT women, Myers Briggs. Probably, preferably INTs. I guess an ENT would be okay. Um, they're loud, but what I think about normies is that they just do what the other normies do, and that's a really bad time for that. Normies were way better in the 80s or the 40s, like a long time ago, because what everyone else was doing was okay, generally. But now what everyone else is doing is like sick and twisted and weird, and the normies are just like, but everyone's doing it, and there's no talking to them. There's no getting through them. It's bad. Isambo 400 says, I scored 7s and 8s on all areas of levels except personality agency, where I scored 4. How improve? Well, think about your results. Remember what you wrote down and look what it told you, and think about, like, particularly in personal agency, think about what it is that is level 4ish about you in that area. Like, think about what others expect of you and how you respond to it, and how you could be more yourself instead of doing what others think of you. That's how you move from 4 to 5. John Gordon says, I really liked your collab with What If All Hissed. Yeah, that was a good one. Do we have plans to do another one? We probably will. We're buddies. We talk. Probably we'll do another one. I don't know what it's going to be about, but there's no immediate plans, but probably. Z's guitar account says, how old were you when you realized that talking to girls is the easiest thing in the world, when you finally stopped trying to get them to like you and just talked for the hell of it because girls love to talk? And wow, mind blown. I think I was about 25. I think it was when I realized that it's not really the content of what I say that matters, and it's whether they're impressed with my energy or my appearance or my status. That I just started talking to them, and if they weren't impressed, then I was like, okay, and just turned to the next one. There really is no reason for rejection to hurt. If you have worked on yourself and you've made something of yourself, and you go and you talk to a girl and she rejects you, you just turn, you just go, hey, do you want to talk? And she goes, nah, I'm looking at my phone. You just go, turn, and then you go, well, how about you? What are you up to? And then that's over. You don't have to worry about it. But that's only after you make something of yourself. Like, you can't just go out in your, loose fitting Sonic the Hedgehog t-shirt with a bad haircut and expect that to work. You have to be something that some women want to talk to. And then do it like Boomhauer on King of the Hill, where he just talks to a bunch of them until one of them likes him. But yeah, mind blown. It's like, it really isn't that much about the performance, as long as you're walking with confidence and you have something to offer. Wow, I don't know what COP is. I don't know what country that is or what currency it is, but someone gave me 10,000 of something. I'm assuming that's like $8. I'm 38 and a half, 38 and a half, almost there. 6'1", in good shape. What would you recommend for me? I can live anywhere. I was thinking to build a fitness Instagram so I can raise my value. I mean, I need a lot more information before I can make a recommendation. Like, what kind of person are you, and what do you like to do, and what languages do you speak, and what kind of woman are you looking for? And you got to know those things. Like, use the self-maximize chart, right? If you use the chart and you do the exercises in it, and you figure out what it is that you want, then you can figure out your next step is, where do those things come from? And once you know where they come from, then you figure out how to get them. You got to start here, knowing what you want. And once you know what you want, what people do unconsciously is they just go into this next step and they think about, how do I get what I want? Which is what you're asking me right now. And you're like, what do I do? Like, where do I go, and how do I present myself? Do I do a fitness Instagram, right? And where do I live? What I want to do is put that into the environment and get a good result. What you should be doing instead is thinking about what it is that you want, identifying it, write it down, do the life storming exercise, and think about what do you need in order to get what you want, and then go right up to the end. Like, what is your environment? That's what you're asking me. I can't tell you that. You need to know what kind of lifestyle you want to live, who you want to meet, what you want to do with them, what kinds of things you like to do. And then you have to go, where in the world would that come from? And then pick from those places. I'm having like kind of a difficulty with that right now. I have to move really soon. And I know what I want. I don't know if it exists in the world anymore, but I know what I want. And I've narrowed it down like really, really specifically. And there's two particular places that I'm considering, and I'm looking into them right now. I'm looking at those environments and I'm going, well, what do I get here? And what do I get here? And what's more valuable to me? And once I know that, then I'm going to go back here and start thinking again about, is there anything about me that's getting in the way? Anything about my beliefs that I have to change? About where I should be living and what those places are like? What more do I need to know? How do I know if it's true? Like, did someone tell me something about one of those places and I didn't check on it? Does it work? Have other people done it? Use the map. That's the answer that I can give you. I worked pretty hard on the map, man. I remember that. That was a lot of work. Buy my map, pay me, give me money. Let's see. I got a lot of these. Gray J just gave me $5 and didn't say anything. Thank you. Charles Tofield says, what can 40 years old men do? I don't know. I'm 40. I'm just planning to die. I was married for 15 years and moved to the other coast and starting over. How do you start over dating? I answered this question recently. Accept your place in the market. You're not in as good of a place as you were when you were 32. If you were not making that much money in your 20s and you got good at your career and you were making money when you were 32, that was your peak. You're going down. You're not going to be able to get what you used to. Accept your place in the market. You might have to date someone a little older, a little fat or something. There are some guys there was a guy who I was talking to who had a really bad habit of hooking up with unstable women and then losing them after a couple of years. And he said he really didn't want to date women with kids, but everyone around had kids. And I was like, well, it seems like that or nothing, and he was 47 or something. And it's like, you can't be 47 and living in a, $200,000 house and working a $15 an hour job and expect to get like a hot young woman. It can happen. It can, if you're awesome and you ride a motorcycle and you play guitar and you're like really cool, like it can, and you're really good looking, it can happen. Way less likely. Like, old isn't hot. So you start over by accepting your place in the market. Roger Penrose says, aren't all non-normies all emotionally unstable? I believe they do tend to have higher neurosis. I believe that is true. Don't quote me on that, but I do believe it's true. But I mean, I don't care. I would rather have someone who needs a little bit of help from time to time and can think for herself than someone who's just like, the TV told me that we all have to wear buckets on our heads. And I go, I don't want to wear a bucket. Just, yeah, you're Satan. That's way worse. That's way worse than someone who says wearing a bucket on your head is stupid, but also I have some issues today. I would rather deal with the neurosis. The normie behavior you described gets worse in shame conformist society. Sure, that's what wokeism is. It's shame and conformist society. That's like taken to its logical extreme. Did you get the proper injections, and are you wearing the correct clothing, and do you support the correct politics? No. Well, we're going to destroy your life then. Like, it doesn't get more shame and conformist than that. That normie behavior has reached peak normie. Gray J says, thoughts on your tweet going viral a few weeks back and the responses you got? You got to be more specific than that, man. I've had several tweets get millions of views. I'm very popular and intelligent and cool, and I am the world's foremost sex explainer. And so you can't just tell me Like, you can't ask me how I feel about my cool tweet. There are 1,000 of them. Um, Generally, the way that I feel about Twitter is I'm glad I put the time into it. It doesn't pay much, but I think that you can make it pay more if you do all the right tricks. Um, I like the reach. I like that I can just go like, "This is dumb," and hit enter, and I get 3 million views. I like that. I like the reach. So that's going well. How rare is an INTJ female, do you think? I think it's probably less than 1% of women, because INTJs, I think, are like 1.2% of the general population, and they tend to be male. So I think INTJ females are super, super rare. 1 out of 200 or something. Cello Tomaz says, I was thinking about going on vacation in another country, or maybe possibly living there one day, since my father country, Haiti, is not safe anymore. Boy, howdy. I have a lot of Hispanic friends. What places do you recommend cost of living wise? Oh, I can't help you with that. I'm not like a globetrotter. I don't have expertise in everything. I know about psychology and boy girl stuff and politics to some extent, developmental psych and spirituality. But I'm not gonna sit here and be like, you should move to Greece because of the. I don't know. I haven't been. I haven't been a lot of places. I've been all over America, and that's it. And I went to Canada for 10 minutes once. So unfortunately, I can see that you would like an answer to your question, but I don't know. I don't know what Haiti is like other than what I've heard, and it sounds awful. I don't know what it's like in Morocco or Fiji or New Zealand. I guess New Zealand is expensive. I don't know, man. Use the map. Let's get the map back out. Figure out what you want in life, and then check all the different places in the world and see what has it. I don't know what places have the things you want, because number one, I haven't been to the places, and number two, I don't know what you want. You know what you want. That's how you do that. You have to know yourself. Let's go back to the live chat. We ran out of paid ones. Oh God. Someone asked me a Kamala Harris question. Basically, would I vote for her if she did me a favor? No, I would be less likely. I would resist that. Get an online only skill and leave, someone says. Someone says, how old are you? It's no silly questions. Taxation is theft. It is. Taxation is theft. I hate it. I'm going to draw an exclamation point to demonstrate how much I dislike taxes. And then I'm going to color it red for emphasis. I don't like them. I would prefer to keep my money. I do not want to spend my money on 4-star hotels for people who, quite frankly, don't belong here. Life is a beginning says 40 isn't too old. That's wrong. It's too old for quite a few things. It's not too old to enjoy your life or to find somebody or to, get married if you're a man. But it's too old for quite a lot of things. Age is real. It's a real thing. Okay, I've got some paid questions again. Roger Penrose says, I know nowadays it's considered normie to be woke feminist and all, but what I have in mind is either we have to hang out with stupid pop music fans or mentally unstable indie rock concert goers. Yeah. There's not a lot of choice out there. The men and women both have degraded quite a bit. And men are, have Peter Pan syndrome and don't grow up, and they're less masculine than they used to be, and they don't have money and jobs, partially because they've been stolen from us. And the women are just attached to these horrible social movements that make them terrible people. And they worry about things that don't matter, and they drag problems into your life from the internet. It's rough out there. Like, that's one of the things I'm talking about, is there's not a solution for everyone. The solutions are going to be social and cultural. You can't fix people and we can't fix the situation that we're in, and so you have to get lucky, kind of, or deal with someone who has problems. JC says, when did you start playing guitar and how good are you? I would say I'm pretty good. I would say I'm like 99% good. Um, I'm definitely better than most guitarists. Uh, I can do tapping, and I know all the modes by heart, and I'm pretty good, and I sing too. But maybe I'll make music one day. I haven't been able to. I've wanted to, but I haven't been able to. User AAM says, how do you think humans will evolve if current dating trends continue, assuming the system doesn't collapse? We're going to evolve to need each other less. That's the first big thing that I see, is that people are going to be living separately more. Um, if things continue, like if technology doesn't collapse and we have instant messaging and dating apps forever for the rest of eternity, then eventually people are going to evolve to be less lonely when they're alone. And people are going to live in their little boxes, and they're going to date people for a very short time. And every mother will be a single mother, and they'll get money from the state, and the men will just work and pay money. And if you get someone pregnant, then you win. And you might have to pay for it, you might not, but the money will come from men to women through the state. Like, if we don't change things, that's where we're going to be. Men and women are going to live alone more and more, get married less and less, fewer families, and the women will just go out and pick the same 5 to 10% of men who will be responsible for most of the pregnancies, and then they'll all be single mothers and get money from the state, and everyone will be talking on their phones about it, and men will get really frustrated. And according to my friend Rudyard from What If All Hissed, he says that in those conditions, men tend to get really violent. The men who are working and paying but getting nothing, they just go, I don't like, tend to get really violent. The men who are working and paying but getting nothing, they just go, I don't like this deal, and they lash out. So I think that that's a distinct possibility. Let's see. Digital won't be here for eternity, just until oil reserves dry up in the next 120 years. Maybe. Maybe. I don't know how long it's going to last. It's pretty hard right now. If you have to choose pop or indie fans, indie. I would choose an indie fan over a pop fan. Pop fans are more easily brainwashed. Let's see. How much do you feel the world you're currently describing contributes to the mass shooter epidemic in the United States? Oh, 100%. So back in the 1950s, they used to have like little boys would go to school on bicycles with rifles on their backs. Just put like a bike handlebars frame there, seat. And they used to go to school with a rifle. And then they would go do shooting practice. I hope I don't get banned for saying rifle and shooting. I don't know how YouTube works. And they didn't have any problems with that. They would go from home to school. Just put like a bell tower, I guess. I don't know. On the school. And they had no problems with that. Now we're having problems. And it's because people are domesticated and they're suppressing all their instincts, and they don't fit in anywhere, and they're not allowed to voice their concerns or their feelings. Um, People are in a lot of pain because they want to speak up about something and say something, and there's shh, you can't, you have to only do what you're told. And I think that in a lot of people that bottles up, and then they lash out. Let's see, is there anything else? Might be about done for today. I think I got them all. I think about an hour show is good. Oh, someone, Tan Lee, way back up there says, how do you decide if a girl is worth marrying? I've been over that one a few times. You have to really vet her. You got to watch her behavior and check on her family and friends and everything like that. You can't know it just from talking to her. They can hide a lot of things. Let's see. Am I about done? I might be about done. I might be about to just go have an avocado or something. Let's see. Pre-seasoned cookware says, if I recall, the more polygamous a society is, the more violent it gets as a rule. Yeah, that's true. If we keep going, there will be blood in the streets. There might be. That's what Rudyard thinks. I think that's likely to happen because, people are getting pretty crazy. People are getting pretty, like Elliot Rodger. That's a really good example. Like, he said it all out loud. He wrote it down and he was like, I am a good boy and I come from a rich family. I did all the nice, right things, and the girls don't like me. They like the dumb jocks. And so I'm going to hurt people. He said it, you know. I think that the worse that gets, the more young men are going to feel that way. And it might reach a boiling point and things might change. I don't know. We might slide back. Like, go watch the interview I did with Rudyard from What If Alt Hist. He talks about how we're not just, it's not just like feminism was invented yesterday and now everything's going to get better forever, which is what they are teaching them. Men oppressed women forever, and then we invented feminism and now we're free forever. That's not how it works. The way it works is, this is what feminists think. They think history was just oppression of women, and now we have feminism, and everyone will be joyous forever. But really, how it works is different societies go through phases of shifting from feminine to masculine, and the farther you get one way, the more chaotic it is, and the farther you get the other way, the more rigid it is. And this is like Nazi Germany, and this is like us right now, pretty much. So there's fluctuations and we're pretty high up here and we might be doing this soon, but like that we might that might happen and it might be unpleasant. Try to warn people. Z's guitar account says, are you familiar with Casually Explained? Yeah, a little bit. Y'all need to do a collab and do some vids. Maybe the awesomeness of such a thing would make the earth crack in half. Hopefully starting with California. Yeah, California is really nice. I wish that we could get all the people out of it so that I could live there. The bad thing about California is the people living in it. They're awful. Maybe I'll read there. The bad thing about California is the people living in it. They're awful. Maybe I'll reach out, or maybe I'll wait for him to reach out. I am aware of him. James Forst says, I just spoke with my ex-wife about some of your points in your videos. She told me I don't know because I have white male privilege. Oh, stop talking to her. That's stupid. There really obviously is no such thing. That is just a way of saying shut up. If someone tells you that you have privilege, it's just a way of saying shut up. The whole idea of privilege is just a stupid, ridiculous thing. Like, in Japan, Japanese people should have privilege. It's pretty absurd to think that you can be from somewhere else in the world and go to Japan and go, oh, you have to treat me like my ideas belong here as much as yours. That's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. So if someone tells you you have white male privilege, it's like, well, I'm a white male. My family's white. I live in a white neighborhood. Like, we like each other. What are you telling me not to? That's an absurd thing to say. So that's not going to reach her. That kind of like reason and thinking is not going to be able to get through her skull. And she thought the bear was less dangerous than a man. Stop talking. Why are you talking to your ex-wife, James? Why are you talking to your ex-wife? This is what we need to get into. What you need is to put on some muscle. I don't know if you're an older man, maybe you need to get on like testosterone replacement. Put on some muscle. Get yourself a new toy like a jet ski or a motorcycle or a dirt bike or I bought myself a really entry-level toy. Like, I used to have a road bike with the skinny tires, for the racing, and then I bought myself not even a mountain bike, but just a hybrid bike with, like, medium tires so that I can go on some dirt, and I've been just riding it on the dirt trails around where I live, and I'm like, "Yeah, this is awesome." That's what you need. You need to do that instead of talking to your ex-wife, alright? Don't pick up the phone for her anymore. Tell her that she's ridiculous. Tell her that she is an awful. There's a word for these monsters. Awful. And that is affluent, white, I'm assuming, female, urban, liberal. Tell her that she is an awful and say that her opinions are disgusting and that you're going to go jet skiing and then just play, AC/DC or something. Play Back in Black and go jet skiing and don't pick up the phone for your awful ex-wife. Don't argue with her. Jesus. Lord in heaven, don't argue with those people. They're too far gone. She's brainwashed. She's a normie. She's neither N nor T. She is what is it? SF? She's an SF. Your normie wife is an SF. And there's no reaching her. She has a feeling and she's sticking to the feeling. And you don't have to deal with her feelings because she's your ex-wife. Go away from her. I hope that that's sufficient answer for you. That was a good donation, James. Yeah, I'm gonna do another bear versus man video. People are still talking about it. I can't believe people are still talking about it. It's my upgrade. It's pretty significant. Like, people say the bear versus man conversation is stupid, but it's not stupid. It's actually really significant. It demonstrates what is wrong with our society because women are saying that the dangerous thing is good and the safe thing is bad, and then inviting the dangerous thing. And then there's more danger, and they go, "Well, what happened?" It's like, you invited a bunch of bears to move into your neighborhood, idiot. Um, yeah, they're awful. Don't talk. Don't try to reason with them. Just gonna maneuver around them. Let's see. Alec Singer. So think your name is very easy to sell to people. Yeah, I'm gonna do that eventually. I don't know what to change it to. It's gonna be really hard because, like, I can't change my Twitter account. It's just gonna be it is Homath. It's gonna be really annoying to grow another account to 60,000 followers. But on YouTube and TikTok, I probably will change my logo and my name eventually once I start branching out on topics. I just don't know what to change it to. A year of getting famous people to say Homath out loud was very, very funny. Like, Tim Pool said it, and Pearl, and I think Andrew Tate, and who's the most famous person who said it? Tony Hinchcliffe said it on Kill Tony, and that was fun getting people to say that. But yeah, I'll probably change it. Patrick Bateman says, I do not think things will collapse. We'll just end up looking more like Brazil. That's a kind of collapse, though. That's a terrible future. Brazil, South Africa make enough money to get away from your enemies. What a horrible future. What a horrible life to live. To just be surrounded by danger and have to live in a gated community when your country used to be great. It's awful. Joe Doyle, saying white male privilege is exactly like a 1930s German saying Jew privilege. That's what Joe Doyle says. I guess so. I mean, telling people that they have a particular position in life because of the group they belong to is just, I don't know if it's really a productive area of conversation. There are things that individuals do to each other that are bad. There are things that groups do to each other that are bad. But one group just succeeding more and having more isn't a bad thing that you do to other people. It's a good thing you do to yourself. If you talk about, whatever privilege, whatever group of privilege, imagine making it individual, and imagine an individual person. Like, imagine that this girl worked harder and went to law school and made more money, and this girl didn't work as hard and made less money. And she said, "Oh, well, that was because of privilege." It's just an unproductive area of conversation. Um, it's more transparently a dumb thing for individuals to say to each other, uh, assuming that there were no, significant class differences, because of course there are. The amount that you're able to achieve, that you're capable of achieving, is more related to your zip code than your abilities. So if these people came from the same place and one did better, yeah, it's because you had unfair advantages. It's an unproductive area of conversation. We should focus on like wrongdoings that people have done to each other rather than just saying you're privileged. It's just dumb. It's a waste of time. I hate it. James Forrest again. Wow, another big donation. Thank you, James. To be clear, we're still good friends, and I'm remarried. My numbers: squat 425, bench 325, deadlift 510. Okay, great. But I still agree with you on your opinion. Thanks. Oh, okay, awesome. So you're doing the right thing. If you're okay, I don't know how much more I want to argue about it, but if she's telling you stuff like that and it's getting under your skin enough to come at, pay a bunch of money to ask me, what the purpose does she serve in your life? I'm just curious, why come here and say, what was it? Your ex-wife, you brought up some of the points in my videos, and she said, you don't know anything because you have white male privilege. And you come here to ask me that, and I'm like, don't, just get away from her. And you're like, well, we're still friends. It doesn't sound super friendly for someone to say that to you. Oh, the things you have are artificially inflated and you don't deserve them. Ouch, that's not a friendly thing to say. Um, but thank you for the question, I guess. Centrist Glass Cannon, that's a cool name. Active scooters require scorn of peers, negligence of authority. Let's draw a scooter for you. So that was funny. Active scooters. Little brake thing on the back. They require scorn of peers, negligence of authority, inconsistent mental health care. What would make you think we're fixing society? If people could take care of their issues on a local community level instead of just anytime anyone frowns, sending them to a psychiatrist, that's poison. They just make you worse. Psychiatrists just make you worse. If you're ever unhappy about something, you don't have the opportunity to voice it. You can't speak up in school. You can't take it directly to the person giving you the problem. You can't talk to your parents. If you ever say, "Oh, I'm unhappy," they go, "Oh, well, you need lots of drugs and to be told that you have a bunch of brain diseases. We're going to sit you down with someone and you can talk about how bad you feel for hours and hours and hours." Um, get away from that and go back to like a community model of fixing things, where if you have a problem, you bring it up, and then everyone around you uses their judgment to figure it out. That would get rid of a lot of like mental illness. It would get rid of a lot of that because it would just be found to be normal problems that people have with each other and their surroundings that can be resolved. Um, okay, one more. My MBTI, my Myers-Briggs test results say I'm more of an INFP male. I don't take it too seriously, but I'm more of a sensitive soul. Yeah. Wish I had more than two characters, but what advice could you give about dating? I wish that I had it printed out. There's a chart for this. I probably will break it out eventually, but there's a Myers-Briggs dating chart, and I don't know if I give it any credit. Like I've never tested it, and I don't know if there's anything true about it, but I wish I had that to show you. Um, if you're a sensitive soul type, you have to know who's looking for that. If you're more of like, well, what is INFP? I don't know these very well. I know my type. INFP. Introverted, intuitive, feeling, prospecting, quiet, um, the mediator. Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't sound super masculine and dynamic. Quiet, unassuming, but they have vibrant, passionate inner lives. Be an artist, express yourself. Girls dig that. Creative and imaginative. Are you creative? Are you a creative person? Because if you can be, like a musician or a painter or something, girls dig that for sure, especially if you're young and tall and skinny and you have like scraggly facial hair. And you can just go, oh, I just got to paint what I feel, then someone will love you for sure. Lean into your strengths. That's what I would say. Whatever your strengths are, which seems to be being like quiet and pensive and reflective and expressive, lean into those strengths. My strengths are being really like rigid and analytical, although I'm creative too. I do art as well, but I'm not like, I don't identify as an artist. I'm more of like a teller of things. I just go like, this is how things are, and I can draw them too. Um, that's irritating, but it's who I am. If you're more of an expresser, then, get good at an art form and go show that to people. Go sell paintings or go. One time I went to an event where a girl I was dating was painting and someone was playing music. And so they would look at her painting and play how it felt. And then she would listen to the music and paint how it sounded. And it was like a jam. They were jamming. And I drank wine and watched her paint. And it was pretty crazy. She was definitely insane. And I'm glad that I did not get stuck with her, but she was ridiculously hot. She had like those icy blue wolf eyes, like perfect eyelashes, like the like a husky. Um, Very attractive, but her paintings were, I looked at them real quick and I was like, oh, you are mentally ill. There's definitely a lot of things wrong with you. Um, but yeah, I mean, like that's not the point of the story. The point of the story is that you can go out and do cool stuff like that if you're good at art. Lean into your strengths. That's what advice I would give you about dating. If you lean into the strengths that you have in the type of person that you are, then you will attract the type of person who likes them. And then there you go. Okay, Alex Singer says, do you think feminine and masculine dynamics factor into relationships like woman cooking, childcare, and man protecting, providing being more important than people realize? Oh, of course. These are overwhelmingly how people are born. And we have all this moralization about how we shouldn't follow those roles, but you should follow whatever roles you're drawn to. And most people are drawn to how they're naturally born. So yeah, of course they factor into relationships. Like most relationships are going to be a masculine man with a feminine woman. Most of them. So of course that's important. Okay, Alex Singer says last one. What is the rank for traditional mixed swapping between homemaking and income-based work, one person or double career relationship, which works best? Well, it's really hard to not have two incomes right now. If you can have, I recently visited someone who um, he makes all the money and his wife does all the home stuff. I believe that she does not have a job, and their life is going excellent, swimmingly well. He doesn't have to do very much home stuff. She does that, and then he is free to make a lot of money, and he lives in a really nice house in a really nice place. That works best. We can't do that anymore. Most people need double incomes, or else you're just not going to survive. So that's like again, the answer would be for more of us to go back to that, but they destroyed civilization so that we can't. So it really is mostly external stuff. And I think that's going to be back to that, but they destroyed civilization so that we can't. So it really is mostly external stuff. And I think that's going to be it for me. I think I'm tired and cranky, and I'm going to go eat. So no one pay me any more money. Not here. but like for other things, pay me a lot more money. Because I think I'm gonna go now. Okay? Armando, Guerra, Steve Cooper, Umberto. Thank you all for being here. This was pretty cool. I have 696 people listening, and I'm gonna leave because I'm tired and cranky. I could keep doing this, but I don't have the energy. All right. That's it for me. Good night. Thanks for this one was good. I'm tired when I do these. This one was good. Thanks everyone. See you next time.